of WebSugar, where we take apart someone's website. Well, no, but we'll do it in a nice way. And you know, Alli has graciously agreed to join us and have her website kind of have us take a look at her website. And hopefully we'll have a lot of fun, and we get to learn a little bit about your business, Alli. And yeah, well, we hope this is useful for everybody. So, Alli, tell us a little bit about your business.
Well, first of all, Kathy, Alice, I really am looking forward to WebSugar, and I'm thrilled I'm the inaugural website that you're going to rip apart. And please do, because the Puzzle Art Therapy site, which I've had up for a long time, is meant to help people with their cognitive issues, and it's a brain fitness program type of therapy. And I actually have a new site, new sites being worked on, so if we have time at the very end, you can say what was bad about the first site and then see if we've started to improve it with the other sites. So Puzzle Art Therapy is a cognitive brain building type of therapy, and it is using my art. I'm an artist, a puzzle artist, and it uses the puzzle art, which is multiple pieces of art that come together to form one single abstract painting. And by doing the different process and activities that neuroscientists and therapists have helped me develop over the last few years, people actually help connect their eyes to their brains better. 80% of what happens in the brain comes through the eyes, and so the Puzzle Art Therapy process, concepts, and products are all based on that. And we work primarily with therapists, so we are a business-to-business company, and then the new one that's being developed is a consumer website, so that we'll be helping everybody, not just therapists who help their patients. But in any case, the military's using us, doctors in 15 countries are using us, and in about 35 states in the U.S. are helping their patients using the Puzzle Art Therapy.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. So without further ado, maybe we should just take a look at the site. So hopefully this will work. Yep, there it is. So there's the site, and here it is, Puzzle Art Therapy. So I did take a look at your site a little bit before this hangout, and I do have a couple of comments. And my first question to you, Alli, is does it make sense? I mean, is that really your funnel where you get people to play the first brain game? You know, this little opt-in right here. That's the thing you most want them to do, is go and you know, get them to do the free game, and then they'll get engaged and then buy your stuff. I mean,
yes, it's a sad excuse for an opt-in, and Gina will be the first to tell you how frustrating it was for us to get this together, going through a company called Infusionsoft, and so it was very difficult for us to get even the simple opt-in that you see here. But it really is fighting for a viewer to actually, you know, realize, oh, this is where I opt in. I think there's a lot going on that front page that it really is a little confusing.
Yeah, so you know that when you have someone on the home page that comes to your home page, you know, really you want them to take. There's got to be the action that they take. You know, whether that's to get the free brain game, pick up the phone and call you, or even, you know, if it's a blog, it's like read my top post, you know. So it varies from site to site what would be that top action. So yeah, I mean that, you know, I think this needs to be expanded, and I think this is something you're doing with your new site. But I don't know, sign up to improve your memory and focus, and then get your free brain game online today. Well, which is it? Am I signing up to something, or am I getting my free game? You know, you need to do one or the other, because I think I'm getting confusing messaging here about what I get if I give my email back to you.
Okay, it is brain game. They are getting the brain game, and by doing it, they will actually improve their memory and focus. The brain game really works well. It's very simple, but it actually works very hard. But yeah, this is confusing, so thank you.
Yeah, so I was a little bit confused with that. The other thing is I'm just going to move my browser in. So the site is sort of partially responsive. You see how most of it adjusted, but then the opt-in didn't. So for someone on a mobile device, they're going to have trouble with this opt-in box because it sort of half cuts off. And I just wanted to share. Hopefully, when I switch tabs, it's going to. There's this cool tool called Screenfly. So you can punch in your URL into this tool. It's a Quirk Tools Screenfly. So if you search on quirktools.com Screenfly, and then this one it's showing it as a desktop experience. But you can even see what happens if I'm on a small laptop. Okay, that's what it looks like. Okay, I'm on a phone. Let's say I'm on an iPhone 5. That's what it looks like. So this is a really cool tool, especially as you're doing your new site. You can use this tool to kind of test what the mobile experience would be. Looking at your phone is also a good idea too. But
right. Well, I understand that, especially in the coming years, mobile browsing will be much more, used, and so we really have to work well on a phone. So thanks for showing me that, and I will pass it along to Ellen Martin from Info Team. She's doing the new site, and I know that it's very responsive. It's wonderful what we've been working on, but I love this tool because I can actually see it on the fly how it will look. So that's great.
Exactly, and and you can try it, with an old iPhone and a new iPhone. It gives you all these different selections because that's the challenge. It's just not a desktop and a mobile phone. It's all the different screen sizes.
Right. And also, yes, I can always look at it on my phone, but this was really quick. This was great. So I'm going to try that. Thanks so much. That's a great tip from WebSugar.
Yeah, it's a tip. Okay, and then the next thing I wanted to just show you, let's see, I don't want to show that. I need to change my browser, so let me just do that real quick here.
Sure. And, it's very frustrating because you think you've designed a great site or you've worked out something that makes you feel good, and then it really has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the viewer, what equipment they're using, what software they're using, how old their computer is or their phone is, and so it gets very frustrating because there is nothing in the industry that's, this is the way.
Yeah, I agree, and it's gotten a lot more complex.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to show you really quick is I have something called the Web Developer Toolkit installed in this browser, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show alt tags. So what you should have seen is it actually has these little red things here. For every image, it shows what the alt tag is. And Alli, I think you already know this, but Google isn't as good with visuals as we are. So these alt tags are actually a way to explain to Google what the image is about. And actually these alt tags, and you might appreciate this given the work you do, they originally were created for the visually challenged. So you can imagine like someone who is blind and they can't see the image, and so those alt tags were actually put in there so that their screen readers would read out what that image is. So
that's very interesting. That was originally set up for the access?
It was originally set up for visually challenged people to be able to know what that image is on their screen because they couldn't actually see it.
Right.
And so there's this whole sort of subset of web design. It's called accessibility, and it's like there's this Compliance Act, and has to do with people who have trouble clicking on mouses. Anyway, that's a whole other topic we're not going to get into today. But
Right.
the thing to understand is since a search engine robot, when it comes to crawl your site, is kind of a little bit like a blind person. It has to read everything. That's where these alt tags are really important. They help describe the image. So on this site, your header does not have an alt tag. So see this alt tag right there,
Right.
between the nav bar and the image. And then just scrolling down, well, this alt tag is pretty good. You got a nice description of, kids and adults love working with original hand-painted, heavily textured puzzle art. So that's a great one. This alt tag is great. This one maybe not so much. It just has the name of the image. And
it's a dud. It's a dud.
And this one, it's like LWA scan 19. So
yeah, you're right. And that was a great testimonial from somebody using the puzzle art. So how do you change the alt tags? There's a place in the back.
Yes, in WordPress. When you create the image, when you upload it, there's some fields you can fill in, and there's a caption field, a title field, and an alt tag field.
Got it.
Okay, so just let me tell you a little bit about what each of those fields are. So the alt tag field we just explained. It's just a tag that's in the source code that was originally designed for the blind, but now is used by search engine robots to understand what the image is all about. The title tag, have you ever moused over an image and has that little pop-up? You've seen that? That's what the title tag does. So that's useful to your users, especially if you made that image into an image link that will lead to another page. I think it's really helpful for when the pop-up, gives them some clue what they're going to happen if they click on that image. And the caption is simply the words that appear underneath the image. And something to think about, like on this page, we have this, alt tag. You have this also as a caption, which I think is great because that actually also is read by search engines.
So it could be the same one, the description, and it could all be the same or slightly different, but to use all three.
Yeah, most cases you want to use all three. I mean, in some cases it may not make sense. Yeah, they can be the same. I would think with the alt tags, I would just have kid holding up, kid enjoying heavily textured puzzle art. Because it is a picture of a kid rather than an adult.
Right.
And you're describing what's on the picture. So that's what I would do. I'd probably just change it to be kid. Enjoying working with puzzle art or something like that.
Physical, so it would be a physical description. Think of it as describing to someone who is blind, so that would be really accurate for them.
Exactly. So that would be the next thing to kind of do. And then one of the things I noticed is down at the bottom you have this leave a reply. And, I'd be tempted to take that off the home page just because it looks kind of funky. It's a landing page for someone who's interested in your business. Why would you want them to leave a reply? Now, as it turns out, you have this nice testimonial. I'd almost take that testimonial and pull it into the main body of the post.
Okay.
And highlight it, because this is social proof. And it's sort of, unfortunate you have to scroll all the way down here. And people don't, they don't read, they don't scroll, So, I almost would be tempted to put it like right underneath, the description of what the puzzle art, what it is, and then, have this nice testimonial right underneath it.
So in the full screen, almost the very first real estate that people will get to see?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, you're going to have to sort of figure out what you want to lead with.
Right.
And that's going to really have to do with your business. What do you have people who really want to see that social proof, or do you have people who are much more fact-minded and need to understand what this thing is?
Right.
So, unfortunately, it's there's no one pat answer. It depends on your target audience, and you can always test this stuff, and
Hmm.
we should be continually testing our websites. And there's a tool called Visual Website Optimizer, where you can kind of show different versions of your homepage, and you can just see which one has better engagement, has better click-throughs, etc.
So it's almost like making new landing pages, testing them out, and then choosing the one that has the best reach.
Yeah,
Oh,
I believe the site is. Let me just make
right.
sure I am right. VW. One. I mean, there's a number of tools on the market for this type of testing, but it's VWO.com. And actually, if you give me a second, I will switch screens and show it to you.
Great.
And there it is. This is their homepage, and of course, it costs money, but they do have a free trial. And so, visual website, VWO.com is where you go. This is basically their landing page when you type that in. And yeah,
Mm,
with your business, you probably have some sense of what's your users are all about, and your typical user, and how old they are, all those demographics. But sometimes, especially if you have a new site, you can always do some testing and see what resonates better with your users and gets a better result.
well, you have a point, and actually, the puzzle art therapy is the business to business or professional therapist. That's the site for the professional therapist. But the Brain Fitness Unlimited, the BFU site, is a consumer site, and we're just really beginning that. So this would be a great way to test out a few things. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, that's right. You're going into a new market. It may not behave the same way as your B2B market. Um, yeah,
Right.
some testing. And, there's various tools like lead pages and optimized press where you can kind of quickly build some landing pages, and then you use something like Visual Website Optimizer to just test both. The main thing I would just share with you is it's really easy to get fixated on, oh, what color should the button be, and should we test a
Right.
blue button versus a green button. You can really drive yourself crazy testing all these things. So my main piece of advice here is test big things.
Right. Okay.
Like
I
headlines.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Like headlines. Like on your news site, you probably have this big headline, that would be something to test. So
This is the new site
this is
that
your
you
new
have.
site.
Right. That
And,
will.
we'll take a look at this as well. But, this would be what I would test.
Right. Right.
Is different forms of this headline.
And are you saying the wording as well as color, style? You you're
You can
just
test.
saying once you get the wording, just in terms of physically the size or the shape or the typeface.
Yeah, I would first focus on the wording and then look at the typeface. I mean, when I look at this, I kind of want it to be fatter and bigger.
Okay.
But that's just me.
So Ellen Martin from Info Team, she actually just said that to me before I got on the Hangout, and we were just talking about that. So
You got,
we will.
yeah, you got the space. Why not, yeah, I'd make this fatter and bigger. I mean, again, yeah, that's what I would do.
Okay. Okay.
Is Yeah, I would make this fatter and bigger. You got the space, and the fatter would. It is. I'm a little distracted by the background. It's just the contrast is not entirely there yet for me. Um,
Okay.
do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's something to test also, because we originally had just solid color background, and it changes as you're reading it. It gently changes color, and Ellen had put my artwork behind, but fuzzed it out so you could read the headline better. But we were trying to decide how to do that. I mean, if that was a good way to go. So if I go on the VMO, would that be something that tool would help me with, or not? That is not what it would work with.
Well, you have to provide both your two alternates to it.
Okay.
It can then it depends on the tool, but some actually I've played with around. It's been a while since I played around with it, but I think you can actually go. It can actually change it on the fly, so you don't have to have two different pages.
Oh.
So I think
Okay.
it's actually pretty straightforward. So yeah, what it does is it has this JavaScript code, and you could actually change your heading, and it should do that without you having to create another page. Now that, sorry, I had to kind of think about it a moment. How does it actually work? Oh, that's how it works.
Right. No, but that's good. That's good advice. And I don't know if you scroll down on this new website, there's another color bar. There's another color bar, I think a little further down, and I think that is changing. The color is like testimonials. I think that green, when you look at it, at last I saw, it was like changing. And below, you see that the below, it's actually changing color. It goes from one color to another. I don't know. That was just something that might be visual interest. I don't know if it would be too distracting, but when we were looking at it on the whole website, the different panels, that it was changing color, it actually made you focus more on the words because the colors of the panel were changing. I don't know if that's good.
I don't know. I think part of, I mean, it's all the way down here at the bottom, so I'm not sure how much of an impact that would have.
There were others. The other color panels had also changed. So each panel, like the blue for the blog, had changed. But I guess it's been turned off or something, or however, when it was sent to you, it isn't scrolling through the colors.
Okay.
I don't know, but it actually was a nice feature, and you didn't need Flash. Wasn't doing anything with Flash. Yeah, it's really responsive.
Yeah. Look. Yeah. See it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely would make this fatter.
Okay.
There's. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. It looks very nice.
Yeah.
It's like, and you're leading with a picture of you.
Which is okay or not. That wasn't even my, plan. I didn't even know that it had done that. But the most important thing is to be able to help people with their memory problems. And
yeah, it really depends on the business, but I was just talking to someone, a potential client, and she doesn't have a picture anywhere on her website. And these days, you got to have, I mean, whether you lead with it like kind of as the main element, or whether, I think it needs to be somewhere on your website, a picture of you. People just, they relate so strongly with pictures of people.
right.
And so, I think it's fine. I'd probably just leave it the way it is. I guess the thing to think about is, whether, this should go above the picture. So that's the first thing you see is like the question: are you frustrated with the loss of memory, focus, and concentration? Yes, I am. Okay, let me scroll down here and see what she's got to offer.
Right. And then I don't know, the pink bar where you click on it for the free brain game. It's very small. I don't know how in people's face you have to be. That's the old one that we had with the arrows to give people access. But the one that is the new one we're working on is that pink bar. And then this, I guess, it's not supposed to go to this. It's supposed to go to just a sign-in panel. So we're at the beginnings. This is literally...
Yeah. Well, we won't spend... Well, let me just pop this into my other browser.
Because where they have to sign up for the brain game, pink stands out, but those words are very small. Optimize with our free puzzle art game.
Mm-hmm.
The puzzle art game really works very well. It's very relaxing. You think it's a nothing, simple puzzle game, but it's actually rerouting and strengthening your neural pathways in a very strong, creative way. People don't realize how hard they're working their brain when they're doing the game. So I'd like to make sure people actually sign up, and that will, of course, increase my list. That will, put people through that opt-in process, and I'll have them on my list to help them further.
Yep, so I just turned on the alt tags again so we can kind of take a look. So your header now, on your new site, you now have an alt tag set, which is better than the old one. But I would change this. I mean, something like, brain game to improve memory or something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know about this. This is probably not going to help very much.
Okay.
Let's see.
This is great because we're just beginning this now, so this is wonderful. Thank you.
Yep. This alt tag is just the same as your post title.
Okay.
So I might change that to, I don't know. It doesn't really reflect what the picture is.
No, but so, like, if I was going with your advice about the alt tag on that photo, I would say puzzle art
can help you in your
right.
Something like that. Yep.
Okay, or colorful pieces of puzzle art. 12 pieces of puzzle art has 20,000 combinations, which can help work on your cognitive improvement or something, or memory.
Yeah, something like that. Like, puzzle art can't, I don't know. Yeah, I think something like that would be good.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I just wanted to also show you, this is back to the old site. So when I looked, so now I'm looking at something called Google indexation, and I'm using something called the site : command. And what this is this shows me all the pages on your site, and of course we're on the old site now.
Am I supposed to see that on the screen?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't switch screens. Let me just, thank you.
So what is this called? Google?
This is Google indexation.
Indexation. Okay.
Yep. And so what I'm using this specialized command called the site : command. So in the Google, this is Chrome. So I just type in site : and then your domain name.
Okay. Without the www or the HTTP.
Well, the reason I didn't include, without the HTTP, the reason I didn't include the www is because your site is set up and this is actually something important for you to think about. Your site is currently set up, so if I type in www.puzzlearttherapy.com, it does a redirect, so the www goes away. So, and it's all set up correctly. I checked that, and that's something that WordPress, you've told WordPress, this is my preferred way I want people to access my site is without the www. And that's okay. It just has to be set up correctly, and yours are. And so you just need to make sure that on your new site you do the same thing.
Okay. Well, Gina had set that up at least a year ago to route that way, so I'm glad it's working.
It appears to be working just fine. So kudos to Gina.
Yay, we did something right.
Yeah, so the one thing I want to just notice is it says, okay, you have about 350 pages that Google knows about. But I'm doing a bit of like magic here, so just bear with me.
Right.
167 of those pages are what I call tag pages. So let's just take a look at one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's not showing it on your screen. Let me try that again.
So is 350 pages considered a lot, or?
Oh, it just depends on the site and the business and all of that. But my point is that these are tags. So when you write a blog post, you tag a post. And what WordPress does is it creates a separate page that has all the blog posts that are tagged with that tag. And you have 167 of these guys. And
all tagged the same way, you're saying?
So this particular page has all the posts that have been tagged with art therapy.
I see.
And so there's, 3 or 4 of them, let's say. These are basically duplicates of your blog posts. So we have the early bird catches the worm, register for this training. We have the full blog. I mean, it's not a very long blog post. You have the full blog post, and then we have the actual blog post, register for your training. You do not need to have both of these in the Google index. You just need to have one.
Right.
So my recommendation is to add the no index tag to take these tag pages out of the Google index. And you will have Yoast set up on your WordPress site. So it's actually a simple checkbox, and I'm realizing me telling you this is not necessarily that helpful. You probably want to know where the checkbox is and that sort of thing.
No, but right away I immediately understand what you're talking about, and it's just repetitive, and Google, I don't know when they rank it, but there's no need to have it repetitive. It's better to have, even if we tag things differently, even if they're similar, they can be tagged from a different, so people will access them from a different direction, not always the same direction. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing I think people think, oh, the more pages Google has, the better.
Right.
No, it's the best pages. It's the unique pages. It's kind of like, going on a date. You want to have your best foot forward. You had 3 dresses that you picked from to go on the date, and you always end up wearing that favorite dress because it's the best dress. It really flatters you. Well, that's like with Google. Those other 2 dresses you never wear, you don't want those in the Google index. You just want the best page. So
got it. That's a fun analogy, and I can relate to that. I'll choose the red one, the red sexy one. Okay.
Right. Because you always get compliments on it, and you always get attention. We want our site to get attention from Google searchers, and so you should always lead with the red dress. So
that's a very good WebSugar tip. Thanks.
Yeah. So. What I can do is I can do a screenshot, like, where in the Yoast, and you can either share it with your web developer, but this would be something, as you move to the new site, this is something to go ahead and set up. Or you can set it up here, and then when you move things over, then it'll be all set up and ready to go.
Great.
So, those were my 3 tips I saw when I looked at your site. Any questions?
Yes. So, for example, the tagging is something I'm really not well versed in. And so, if this, let's say, looking at the page you've got on the screen share right now, so it is a training. We're telling people about the training, but there's also, whether you take the training or not, there's benefits of knowing the process of the puzzle art therapy and what the training is helping people with, because that's what puzzle art therapy will help people with, not just the training. And so you're saying, really don't say, what is it? Tag archives as art therapy. So it shouldn't all be art therapy. It can be cognitive issues. It can be another tag might be fun, brain fitness training fun, or brain fitness concepts using visual products or something. Whatever. I mean, is that what you're saying? You're saying,
well,
don't get rid of
I was mainly telling you not to repeat, that the tag pages, which essentially are a duplication of your existing posts.
Right.
That we don't need the second, the duplicates. It's like having two red dresses. You only need, you'd only need to know to have the one. You don't need the two. As far as what to use in tagging, your site isn't, some sites have tag clouds.
I'm not familiar with that.
Yours does not. I mean, you've got these archive pages. I would either switch this to be a tag cloud or categories, because this is the thing. I know this is a default WordPress thing that they show the archives, but I don't know about you, but I have no idea if the content I'm looking for is in January 2014.
Right. And
so I'm interested. I'm interested in, like, let's say, how this works with children.
Right.
Right. That's what I am here on your site to learn about, is how this could help my students or whatever.
Right.
I have no idea if the answer is in any of these.
So, for example, the puzzle art therapy will help kids with reading disabilities, but it will also help people in their 50s, 60s, and 70s to read signs while driving on the road. So, and there's two separate blog and products that talk about them. So would it be best to then make what you call a tag cloud and say improve your driving through brain fitness, or versus do better in school, in elementary school with brain fitness? And so just give like a little phrase or a small sentence of what it's about, and not put like the dates, which you're right, it means nothing to anybody.
Well, so WordPress is very flexible. So you can either show categories. So you have both categories and tags for WordPress. Categories tend to be more useful as far as let's say you have your blog, and you can easily say, okay, I have 6 categories I use in my blog. Where tags, it's kind of like you put whatever, So a tag cloud might be useful if you tagged your post like children, people over 50. If you tagged your post that way. But to be honest, the categories tend to be more useful. So you have posted, and I'm looking at some of your categories here. You got events, puzzle art therapy, and training. So I would really think about your audience and what problems they're trying to solve, and think about maybe categorizing your post along those categories. Okay, this is for children.
Right. This is for seniors. This is
these are my local events. In case you have you kind of want to speak to a local audience. This is for seniors. This is for kids. This is you have these different categories, and you know your content best. So you would be. And then show those categories on the home page. And that way people can then navigate to what they want to read.
So instead of being an archive list, it would be a category list?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Okay, I'll take a look. That's really a great tip. Thanks.
Yeah, so as I said, there's 2 things you can do with WordPress. You can either use a tag cloud or you can use a category list. Generally, I would recommend the category list.
Okay.
A little bit easier, but you can do, it's not like one's better than the other. I think categories tend to be a little more succinct and a little easier for people to deal with. So that's why I tend to.
And it makes sense. I think that the archives, when you see somebody's been writing blogs for 5 years, that gives them a bit of credibility. But the reality is, when you are trying to solve a problem, especially if it's a medical issue, a therapeutic issue, you want to see what's most recent in medicine. You don't want to read something from 5 or 10 years ago necessarily. So the dates don't really matter. It's the categories that people are searching for.
Right. Because I don't know. You might have this really great key insight about working with kids and their cognitive abilities, and it's buried in June 2014, and I'll never know that.
No, and we change kids' lives daily all over the world because of their frustrations in school, and doing some of the simplest puzzle art therapy concepts or using those or as activities, it changes how they are in school, how successful they are. So it really does make a difference, and I can visualize the difference of somebody doing a search, and that June 2014 isn't going to help anybody for anything.
Right, right.
Okay, great. That's a fantastic tip. That's a winner tip as far as
good. Well, I wasn't even planning to do that one, but I just noticed it and went, oh yeah, I should mention this to her.
You know your stuff. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing, and there's me again. Okay, we got about 5 minutes left to wrap up. Well, hopefully we actually packed quite a bit in there. We got some good tips in there. I think you got, and so I owe you the screenshot of the checkbox, which I'll probably do as a blog post. So that's why, and I'll make sure you get a copy of that. So Gina, I think we're about ready to wrap up. We should tell people about the book.
All right. Well, Kathy is actually the first in a series of Authors Who Rock books that I am publishing this year. She's my co-author of this book, and she is, of course, an SEO expert, as you've seen her demonstrate in this hangout. And so, Alli, we wanted to show you this book. It's only 99 cents. It's on Amazon. And actually, let me screen share so that you can see it.
Oh, good. I was looking for it, but if you have it ready.
It is called 21 SEO Tips. Let's see. Let me make sure I can get it up here.
It's on Amazon?
It is on Amazon. Okay, so I'm sure you can see it. Just let me know if you can see it.
Very nice.
Okay, so it is 21 essential SEO tips to get your website found fast, and it's an expert interview with Kathy Alice. I already see that we've got a couple testimonials here, so you can go ahead and check that out, and I can send you a link to it.
Great.
But that is the book. There is also a course that Kathy teaches, and she's very good. So that's available too, and there's links to that in the book. Alli, do you have any questions?
I'm thrilled that you gals included me on your first WebSugar hangout on air, and I feel very privileged, and I'm thrilled that really knowledge is power. So the more you really talk about the truth of something instead of just saying, oh, it looks nice, that doesn't help anybody. What you just did will physically help my 2 sites, and hopefully that will translate to some financial gain as well. And I look forward to helping a lot more people in the world with their cognitive issues as a result of it. So thank you for the tips. I look forward to reading. It's a Kindle book, you said?
Yes, and it's about 40 pages. You can read it in a day. So.
How does the course work? What's the deal with that?
Kathy, would you like to talk about the course a little bit?
Sure. I have a course, trying to remember how many modules it is. We packed it into 3 days, and that was way too much for everybody. So it's really more like a 6-week course. And yeah, I taught it back in the fall, and I have all the recordings, and it's ready to go, and I'm augmenting it. And if you're interested, yeah, there is a link in the book, and you can purchase it and have access to it, and you can learn all these secrets. You know, for example, like the site command, how to check your site is indexed correctly in Google, sort of ideas for how you market your site, so the search engines, you know, you get some backlinks, a lot about content. And the other thing, and I also have this as a freebie too, as I really touch on user engagement and how that can help your SEO as well. So those are kind of just some of the topics I touch on. It's a pretty comprehensive course. I am, you know, I'm still kind of adding to it, but yep, it's out there, and you can definitely check it out if you're interested.
Great,
Yep.
and I'm personally interested, and I will go and sign up, which is great. My question is, because mobile interaction is so high a percentage, that something over 65%, and I think they said that mobile interaction is going to be over 75 in the next couple of years. 75% is amazing. So have you talked about mobile sites, or that's something you'll be augmenting?
So yeah, I do touch on no, I definitely touch on mobile, because mobile it's very important, and Google has made a very strong push that they're calling mobile first to get people to make sure their site is mobile friendly. One thing is that, I don't know if you've noticed this, but if you're on your phone and you're searching, go on your phone and search, and on that search, and you might want to do this for your own site, see if there's a little label that says mobile friendly. I don't have an example of it to show you right away because I'm not set up to simulate a phone on my browser. But yeah, if you next time you go to your phone, just search for something. I don't know, you know, pizza or whatever. You know, insurance, you know, and you'll notice that some of the sites will have this mobile friendly tag. And that's a little bit of a clue saying Google's kind of taking a look at the site and go, okay, this site is mobile friendly. People can click through. It'll be an okay experience. So particularly with your newer site, you want to make sure that that little tag is there, because that's a clue to the user. Like, because this has all happened to us. You know, we click through and we get this little scrunched up site. You got to expand it, and it's like, wow, I don't want to even bother. Let me go to somewhere else. You know. My eyes hurt. You know. Yeah, exactly. So that's something to check out. But yeah, I talk about that in the course. With WordPress, with WordPress, it's basically about having a responsive theme. But if you don't have a responsive theme, there is a free plugin you can check out called WP Touch that will give you a sort of it's a little bit of a dumbed down mobile experience of your site. So if you don't have a responsive theme and you're getting there, but you know it's 6 months down the road or whatever it is, you can install this plugin and at least have somewhat of a mobile solution. So yeah, I definitely talk about that in the course.
Great. And there is a free plugin. So if you get the book, there's actually towards the end of the book, it's a reward for the people who read it. So it's at the end, but I'm telling you now, it's there. It's a little link to a free plugin report that Kathy has also.
Yeah. So yeah, I actually have a report. I have like your 20 essential plugins, and WP Touch is one of those that is on the report.
Oh, that's good to know. And I'm not one of those people who goes to the end of the book first. I know people who do, but I'm good about reading through from beginning to end. So
well, it's not that hard. It's not that long of a read. So and we did try to highlight the tips. So you know, even if you just scan the book, I think you get. But you know, once you read the tip, you should read the accompanying text to understand it.
Well, thank you. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. It was great being on WebSugar, and I look forward to seeing the other people that you have on, and then I'll be able to learn from those as well.
All right. Thanks a lot, and thanks for joining us. And, yep, I guess we're at a wrap, and this was fun. We'll have to do it again.
It was fun.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.